We found 4 candidates from Indigo who took the A-level journal paper exam this year. Oh wait, these are our GP tutors.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ten.
Hi, I'm Shireen.
Hi, I'm Mr. Anderson.
Hi, I'm Mr. Joel.
So, what made y'all decide to sit for the A-level journal paper exam?
To ruin the curve.
Oh no, but seriously.
Well, I think because this was the first new syllabus exam, and we wanted to actually see how what we taught would translate into an exam.
We have a task for you today. In the box on the table are the 8 questions from the A-level GP exams. Pick one and we'll take a closer look together. Ready? Let's go!
Okay, let's go pick this. So, question I got is, humor is essential for an individual's well-being.
I drew an X over here. Never going to do this question.
It was the only one you shut
I'll do anything else. Yeah.
So let me tell you guys a joke. So what do you call a cow without legs?
Do I really want to know this?
Yes. Ground beef.
You shouldn't have done that question. I hope you didn't do that question.
I didn't do this question. Yeah, definitely not.
Okay, I'm gonna fess up. I did this question. Why I picked this question? Because I spend a lot of time watching late night talk shows. I think students who have been in my classes who have been exposed to various YouTube videos of talk show hosts. So I ended up using a lot of that as examples. Also occurred to me during the exam that at the end of the day, the question that I reached for was the one that I was most comfortable writing, and I actually had some sort of instinctive understanding about it, as opposed to the injustice one where I wanted to explore it, but I would have had to think very hard. Why you?
The other questions, semi-familiar, right? They play on themes that we have covered before. We all know how to write maybe education essays, science and tech essays. Humor is not necessarily one where we go in like having maybe rehearsed what points you want to come up with. But the point is always that you can unpack it on the spot lah, right? So obviously we know various facets of a person's well-being. We know how humor is supposed to function, maybe emotionally, psychologically. And this is not the first time that this angle has come out in the A-levels. I think like maybe 10 years ago, there was a question like, can humor ever be serious? Right? So playing on a similar kind of theme. So yeah,
Have you seen schools complete papers asking about humor as well? So I don't think it was something that was too far fetched.
But even then, right, like because like we naturally gravitate towards like entertainment or like the media, like you will definitely find something that's funny, that will resonate with you, and that will give you some kind of examples for you to, you know, work backwards and come up with some kind of argument, right?
We did humor. What do y'all do?
I did question 4. Education today should involve more than the study of academic subjects. How far do you agree?
Well, that's not easy though. Why do you choose that?
I feel like for most of us, especially for me, the university experience was not a lot of academic subjects. Right? It's an experience, you learn things, you network, but that was quite easy. I also remember that basically we had an entire CA on the value of humanities.
Oh yeah, the liberal arts.
Liberal arts education, talking
right?
about other things like that. We also wrote a very nice, I also had a CA on the fall of Yale NUS, something that we still right? All of these to me showed just the fact that right, you have Singapore, which is a very academic subject centered system, right? And every class when you go in an AQ practice, we are basically, or at least my classes, we are very lovingly criticizing Singapore and what might be wrong with the system, right? So it felt like a very easy fit to just go, okay, right, what else do we want to learn besides academic subjects? And obviously the very easy part to write for your counter argument is the Singaporean idea, right? That I come to school, I learn my PCME. That's the only thing I'm obliged to do. Right?
I did question number 3. Evaluate the measures taken in your society to deter crime and punish criminals. Because the context of this question is in your society, Singapore. And if you look around us, you realize that many of our policies really gravitate towards the emphasis of like harmony and stability and security. So for me, I think it's quite easy to come up with arguments to assess whether or not these measures are effective or not. Yeah. What do you think, Mr. Tan?
I was kind of torn because Singapore, I mean, there's a very heavy emphasis on deterrence for sure, right? With the death penalty and both capital and corporal punishment. I would have wanted to talk about rehabilitation, but I was nervous whether do I consider it? Yeah, does it count as deterrence? Does it count as punishment? If it doesn't, then there's one whole aspect that I don't get to talk about, which is half my examples wiped out lah. So I was just like,
Alright. Assess the view that it is always right to challenge injustice. Sounds like a question that you would do, Mr. Joel.
yeah, it sounds very Joel.
Yes, all the ranting on injustice in our world today, my current affairs. Yeah, I actually did consider doing this one. It's quite easy because you got always on one hand. The hard part is also the always, right? I was trying to find ways in which she was saying, yeah, it's okay not to challenge injustice. But unfortunately, my moral compass is way too strong to be like, oh yes, it's okay,
I think I would have had fun trying to do this question, but I think I would have spent too much time trying to figure out how to write it in the way that it deserved. So I ended up not doing it, even though I really liked the issue that we were talking about.
So I was tempted as well, right? Because obviously we have covered the social justice angle quite a few times. But no lah.
Yeah, we
no feels.
Protests in our cities.
Yeah,
we
democracy.
Brought out miscarriages of justice.
Yeah.
We even brought it up in relation to tech and what's it called? The Horizon scandal or the
some scandal or other.
Postmaster scandal thing going on.
And we talked quite a bit about discrimination and
yes,
right? And activism as well. So
Yeah.
all that was very nicely covered. So I think a lot of students would have tried to do it, but they had no other questions. Okay, let's poll this. Which one do you think was actually the hardest question?
Ooh.
For sure, one.
I would think one.
Really?
I would say one. 100% one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I can also see how question 6 can be difficult.
Yeah, I was thinking 6 also. Y'all go one first. Go one first.
I mean, one is basically outside the whole everyone. It's like, oh, what's my examples for social media? What's my examples for AI? And it's like, if you put all your eggs in the science and tech basket, you almost can guarantee that every year the A levels is going to make the science and tech question ridiculously hard because everyone wants to do it. So they put waste disposal. I very easily found my head immediately went to point 4 is going to be profundity.
Okay.
And it's going to talk about how science and tech either solves or doesn't solve the problem. The root cause of waste disposal being that we create waste. The points for this are easy. The problem is that the example.
That's so hard.
When was the last time I talked about trash? Right? Am I just going to write my secondary school reduce, reuse, recycle as the main point, as the main examples that if you're not well prepared for this, it's very hard, right?
Online advertisements.
I think because of the way the question is being phrased, I don't know if you will agree with me on this, but number one, the part of it is not whether it is just merely good or bad, but there is some kind of comparative element in the way that the question is being phrased, right? Does this bring more harm than good? Right. So that itself will really change the way that we want to write our argument, right?
No, exactly same thoughts as you. It's not only the comparative element, but the given at the start that they do use increasingly sophisticated methods.
And what are these increasingly
so that has to be a starting point, right? Not just online advertisements, good or bad, is the sophistication, good or bad, which makes it tough lah. And I think a lot of students will miss it.
Okay, so what do you think are the takeaways from doing this exam? I mean, for me, it's many decades since the last time I did an exam, but what do you think were the takeaways for you guys?
I think most of us would come to realize that we shouldn't really focus so much on specific topics. How about you say, right? Don't spot questions. But I also realized that having life experiences around us outside of the classroom, right? Going through all these various events or participating in all these other initiatives, all these TV series as well, right? knowing what they are and what their functions are in society will really help you to, come up with your arguments.
I think it's the idea of putting down your phones and opening your eyes
Right.
as you're out there.
Right.
Yeah.
My takeaway was time management.
Correct. Yeah.
My takeaway was look at the clock and really time yourself in terms of, alright, paragraph 1 took me this many minutes. That means I'm cutting 1 or 2 lines or examples from paragraph 2, right? So for me, I finished with 2 minutes to spare, which I think was still very good for my classroom. For people that did it, I finished.
Cramps, yeah, because I think all of us as tutors or like teachers, when we prepare our materials, adults, right? Yeah, old people. Yeah.
He forgot to bring a pen.
Oh my god, I can borrow from my students.
Yeah, I use the Indigo pen. Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
The reason I didn't cramp was because I got a nice gel pen that slides across the page and invest in your future and buy good stationery.
I think for me, the most difficult thing was that focus. I kept thinking in the exam, okay, I need to make sure I'm answering the question. Everything I'm writing, I need to make sure I'm tying it back to, well-being, right? And not just talking about humor in general, which is very easy to talk about. So I think that kind of focus and discipline was something that I had to consciously remind myself of. And because of that, I really needed a nap after that.
I mean, the reason we're doing this at all is to try to maybe empathize with the students a bit better. Sometimes as a teacher, it's very easy to get lost in just write more points, you score more, explain better, you will score more. So you just always ask them to do like more. Then obviously, you have to kind of like temper your expectations, 1.5 hours, the strain, the arm strain, all these things become like limiting factors on what realistically you can produce lah. So I think this was a good maybe recalibration of what we should be asking of students, what we should be asking of ourselves as candidates. So hopefully we can become better teachers by virtue of having been, candidates.
Well, definitely for sure, I felt a lot more for the students. I think we had students that walked out and went, everything I studied didn't come out. These were students in the school, right? Not our students, right? And I think someone was like, I'm going to burn my GP notes. So there's so much emotional stress that goes into it that, we see or we hear of from our students, but experiencing it and seeing the students themselves go through it, I think, it did something to me. I think that's it.
Do we tear this up?
Ready?
1,
2, 3.